I have my notes, and just to keep me on track, welcome to the first FiberyGoodness Fireside chat. I did it, and
Yay.
I didn't stumble.
We made it.
I know. I'm Jan Massey, and I'm part of the FiberyGoodness group, and I want to welcome my good friends. Here we go. This is where Arlene Thayer, the spin artiste, and Suzy Brown, the Woolwench.
Yay. Thank you, Jan.
I did that too, yeah.
Thank you, Jan.
And a lot of you, I don't think a lot of you know the history behind FiberyGoodness, and neither do I. So this is all kind of new to me too, and I'm anxious to find out how it all started. So I lit the fire behind me. You can't see it very well. Yeah. It doesn't throw much heat, but it looks good.
It's psychological heat. You see it and you instantly feel warmer.
Yes, it is very cold here. I live in Wisconsin, and it's very cold. So there is a chat that I think on YouTube. Can you chat, Suzy?
You can leave comments on YouTube, and it should come up on our feed. It may just be a bit delayed.
Okay.
And I'll try and sort of pop over there every once in a while and check what's there.
And hopefully we can get Arlene to sing a little later.
I'm ready.
You're ready.
I'm ready.
Okay. Do you want to introduce yourselves?
Go, Arlene.
Well, I'm Suzy Brown, and I'm Woolwench.
My name's Arlene, and I have the most gorgeous cat that loves me, and her name's Chili.
Yes, and I am the master spinner of the two.
There you go.
And you know, I can nail it with my drawing. I do the best goats ever.
All you need to draw is goats. All you need to draw is goats.
Then goats.
Oh, look, the kitty's behind you.
Well, for now, until she puts her butt in your face, that's in about 10 minutes.
Once she hears my voice, that's the trigger. Chili's cue. Yep, there's that Suzy again. We'll put an end to that.
Yep. She can't have her attention.
No way.
We're getting binged. Who is it?
I just got a message from Evanita saying that it looks like comments are disabled on the YouTube page. So I'm not sure if that's a bit.
I'm afraid to touch anything.
I tell you what, if people want to chat, maybe start a thread on our Facebook group, the FiberyGoodness Facebook group, and I'll pop over there and read any messages. I'll just load it up.
Yeah, because I'm afraid to touch anything right now.
Yeah, we'll just let it do its thing.
You're just going to have to listen to my mouth. I've had a bag of Dove chocolates, so I'm good to go. No coffee.
Chocolate. Oh, yeah, I put an order in for coffee before I started, but you know, my kids are just so slack.
Suzy, I have an important question to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Today, I was looking at the comments on the blog, and you know, to enter for the giveaway, I asked people to say what is their favorite, you know, indulgence, sweet indulgence. And someone from New Zealand mentioned something called pineapple lump fudge.
Pineapple lumps. Oh my God, pineapple lump fudge.
What is pineapple lump fudge?
I haven't had pineapple lump fudge, but I can tell you what pineapple lumps are. They are, let me put it this way, have you ever eaten something that's so sweet it makes you gag?
Many times. I'm actually looking for that sensation.
Okay, I'm going to send you some pineapple lumps. Pineapple lumps are like little squares of candy, and they're like sort of gooey, chewy on the inside and very artificially pineapple flavored, and they're chocolate covered on the outside.
Yeah.
You put them in your mouth and you get this chocolate hit, and it's like, oh, this is really nice. So then you get this bam of like so much sugar, pineapple sugar, that it makes you go reach for a drink because it's very sweet. But
Sounds right up my alley.
It's real classic Kiwi food. Yeah. There's pineapple lumps, Jaffas, which are like round, hard chocolate balls with an orange coating, like like an M&M's coating on the outside. And the tradition with those from years back was in movie theatres because they're round, and we used to have wooden floors on the movie theatres. This is way back. Someone would always like drop a packet at the top, and it would roll down at some point during the movie.
Marbles.
Yeah. Yep, pretty much. I always thought it was a waste because they're actually quite yummy.
I would have thought
my favourite though.
Candied pineapple with chocolate over it.
Sounds pretty close to pineapple lump fudge.
I'm going to have to make a... Yeah, well, I'd say the pineapple lump fudge is probably made with the pineapple lumps in it. So if it could possibly get any sweeter. I bought some fudge today actually to take to Glynis because she happens to have a bit of a sweet tooth, I believe. Used to share. And it's Irish coffee flavoured fudge. I thought that's got to be good, right? So
how can it be bad?
Hopefully she'll share it with me. I'll put hints out there.
I will trade you pineapple lump fudge for some lemon Oreos.
Ooh, actually, I'll tell you what was really good with those mint Oreos. I like those.
You like those better?
For mint Oreos, yeah.
Those are awesome.
They have some other new flavors out too.
Was there a pumpkin spice one, or was it just a Halloween?
No, well, yeah, it's just at Halloween. But right now there are cinnamon bun flavor out, and something else chocolatey that I saw.
Oh, yum.
Anyway, there's a couple new ones out.
Oh,
that's
well,
the important thing.
We definitely have to make up a trade on that because we don't get those here. We only get the chocolate flavored Oreos. That's it.
Jen hasn't noticed how we're totally avoiding answering her question.
Good sidetracked so easily. One mention of sweet treats. I was like, we're off on a complete tangent.
Shiny thing.
Actually, squirrels. I don't know what's happened to Jan. I'm not sure she's at her feet at the moment.
I see her twice and I can hear her, so I guess we'll just have to carry on until she comes back, like we do. Okay,
I'm just having a quick look on Facebook. Oh, hi, Laura Spinner and Carol. Nice to have you here. Oh, Carol noticed my hair. I've just been to the hairdresser's special occasion.
I've never seen your hair so tame.
Straight, I know. Well, I went there and I said, please don't let me look like a bag lady, because that was my look when I arrived there. So she went to a great deal of trouble to make it nice and smooth.
That must be Jan coming back.
Hope so.
Somebody's messaging.
Oh, I can see Jan talking, but nothing's happening.
Oh, it was Carol just saying she's having a good time. Hi,
good.
Carol. Oh, so, okay.
I
see, I feel like we've told this story a bunch of times.
I don't know if we have really. I suppose when we've done some of our broadcasts before, we've done that.
Maybe I tell myself the story over and over.
It makes me quite nostalgic when we go back to the start of it.
Well, that ties into my special song for this evening.
Oh, I bet it's going to be good then.
Better get your tissues out.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so this is my version of the story. Suzy might correct me, but for me it started way back when I used to do the Secret Stash games on Spin Artiste. And the one that went out that had Easter grass in it, Suzy was in that one, and she made a jellyfish.
That's right.
And it was really very interesting. I think you might have even won that one. If not, you came up really
close. And look what I have. I don't have the jellyfish here, but I did find this.
The prototype.
This actually glows in the dark. How cool is that?
It's a little scary.
I might have a jellyfish thing going on.
Maybe. Next tattoo. So, okay, that was that. And then I did another round that you signed up for, and it was the doll round.
Oh, I really had fun with that. because you sent me the most awful stuff.
Yes. Now, the dolls came as a result of my husband going yard sailing. And he started collecting up all these dolls, and I had this big pile of dolls, and the worst doll in the pile, not that she was ugly or anything, but she had the worst outfit. She had a polyester purple crocheted outfit, and really nasty, like you could hardly even touch that dress. And I thought,
I couldn't touch it.
The only person that's up to this challenge is Suzy Brown. So you got the worst doll.
I didn't know I got the worst one.
Well, it was kind of like, I have to give this to somebody who can handle it. You know, that required some real talent. So anyway, then of course you did fantastic with it, and
I think I rebuilt it completely because I couldn't handle the stuff. I felt a bit bad because I actually, you know, had that acrylic yarn that maybe it's when it's aged, it was like hard, and like to me it's like nails on a blackboard, that kind of thing.
Yes,
and I actually literally
crunchy.
Cut it off, and I picked it up like this and dropped it straight into the rubbish.
So if anybody wants to see those old projects, they're still archived on Spin Artiste. I think it's under the Play tab or something like that, or View, or I think it's View, and they're all labeled the different secret stashes, and you can go, because you did a bunch of them, and then you did your Kickstarter campaign for your wheel. And I contributed whatever I contributed, and then you were getting close, but you didn't have quite enough money. And Damon, my husband, was like frantic over this because he was such a fan of yours, and he kept saying, "You just tell her whatever she needs, whatever she's short, that woman has to have that wheel, and I'm just going to give her that money. Like, what is it? What does she need?" And Suzy knows Damon pretty well, so she can imagine him like taking up this cause for some woman he's never met that lives on the other side of the world, because
such a nice guy, Damon.
He thinks, you know, that your talent is so extraordinary that you
gave me such a boost though when you told me that during the campaign, because I was working. I don't think I've ever worked so hard at spinning, because I was like trying to get the people were basically, it was buying yarn at a discount really, so I was like selling yarn for different prices for different packages, right? So I was actually trying to get all the yarn spun and made out as close to the end of the campaign as I could. So right through it I was like spinning really hard out and then trying to promote it as well, and by the end of it I was getting pretty tired, and then you told me that about Damon. I was like, Damon's determined, you're going to get this. I'm like, it just gave me a boost as well. It was really good.
You could go over the finish line knowing that you know he was waiting there to just push you over. And I don't remember from that point, like, how, you used to comment all the time on the blog and everything, and I don't remember how, like, we started just really becoming friends, like, talking more and more and more. But anyway, I very distinctly remember you were in Holland, and we used to Skype first thing when I would get up in the morning, like, early. And I would be in my pajamas and my hair right all over the place. It would be like 5 o'clock in the morning here or 6 o'clock in the morning here. And Carol wants me to tell another story after this. Anyway, so I would be in my pajamas and Suzy would be, drinking her coffee. It was Holland, so it might be like noon or whatever. And
it was about lunchtime, yeah.
Hanging out, and of course by this time I'm like, you have to get your butt over here, you have to come over here. We finally thinking about what we could do, and we started talking about this idea for the course and the Golden Fleece, and that came together, like that idea came together pretty quickly. And I think it was like in June of that year, which would be 2014. We really pretty quickly had this idea, and all summer long we were writing. So she had chapters and I had chapters assigned, and then we would switch them over and read them and change them. And
I think I was writing while I was here on holiday too during that. It must have been by then.
yes.
No, it was
yes,
summer
yes.
in Holland and winter here. So I kept writing while I was here as well. And I think before that we'd been talking about how to do like some kind of global project because, we were really into that idea of connecting people. And we were trying to come up with ideas for doing global stuff. And, I was thinking about travelling weavings or spinning or something like that. And then pretty sure it was you that came up with well, why don't we do a course thing? So, and of course,
that is lost in the annals of history. But
yeah.
I remember then we said
we
decided that when we had this course together that it really couldn't be housed under spinartiste.com or woolwench.com, that we should have a whole different website to house it. And that was really, I'm going to pat us on the back. That was smart. That was really smart because we really, anybody who's out there who's like trying to figure out what to do with their fiber business, one of the things that we have always tried to do is to like plan for the next step beyond wherever we are.
Yeah.
Is to vision like, okay, we're not just here, we're going to be here. So, that was the first example of that where we said we really need a third website that's a unified website. And, then we, started trying to find names. Well, trying to find a good domain name in today's world, and you want the .com, that ain't so easy. So the name thing back and forth, and then finally we had it. So that's how it started.
Actually, when we found the FiberyGoodness one, we couldn't believe that was available.
Yeah, that was
seemed too good to be true, didn't it?
That can't be so. That just can't be so.
Because all the other really ace ones that we come up with, they were gone or unavailable, and I couldn't believe it when that one came up. It was a no-brainer. It was like, well, that's it. Just got to get that. Best one ever.
And we did. Carol wants me to tell the story of my engagement. I'm not sure how that fits into what we're talking about, but just so you know, we've had a request.
Okay.
Do you want me to tell that story?
Oh, yeah, I think that's a good story.
Let's see.
Is it going to include the surfboard?
It can.
Yeah.
We can go that far. All right, so I was turning 50. This is 3 years ago. And I always wanted to go to Hawaii. And Damon and I had been dating by that time for, I guess, 4 years. So for my 50th birthday, and his birthday and mine are very close. They're just a few days different. So we always do something for our birthdays. But, of course, being that it was my 50th, he wanted to take me to Hawaii. So we planned this trip. And leading up to actually going, when you're somewhere, you have to find things to do. So I said to him, what's on your wish list? Like, he had been to Hawaii a couple of times, and I had never been. So even though he had been to a luau and could care less about going to a luau, he knew that I would want to go to a luau. Well, the only thing that was on his list was this bike ride from the top of the volcano in Maui. And we were staying on Maui for 5 or 7 days, pretty long time. So that, we're going to be there. And this whole thing about the bike ride down the volcano just sounded wretched to me. First of all, I don't like heights. I don't like going fast. Like skiing, and no. And I also have no interest in a bike ride of that length and going downhill. So I kept kind of blowing him off. And finally, we were in Oahu, and we were getting ready to travel to Maui. And I guess that was like a Monday, and my birthday was probably Thursday. And he once again brought up this thing of, I really think for your 50th birthday, we should ride down the volcano on the bikes. I really think we ought to do that. And I'm like, oh my God, thinking to myself, God, give it up on this bike ride. I do not want to do this, especially on my 50th birthday. And finally, reluctantly, I agree. So I booked the bike ride. Well, the deal is you got to get up at about, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning because...
You're kidding. That would have killed me right there.
Yeah, it was horrible. You have to go to the bike place. There's like 50 or 75 other people doing the same thing. It's the middle of the night. You have to have really warm clothes because it's super cold up at the top of the volcano in the middle of the night. And, of course, you don't go to Maui with a long coat. So luckily, we borrowed some stuff from the place that we were staying, and we're all bundled up, and we pile into the van, driving through the middle of the night, up these windy roads, driving, and I'm sitting right back of the bus driver, and the bus driver's giving us, tips and instructions and so forth, and he says, now listen, I've been doing this for a long time, and I just want to tell you that, if you're together with somebody and one person doesn't want to do the bike ride and the other person does, I'm just telling you, if you're the person that wants to go, do not force the other person. It's a huge mistake. I've seen fights over this. I've seen people break up over this. Just do not force somebody to take this bike ride. And I'm thinking, oh my God, I cannot do this bike ride. I'm going to have to tell him. When am I going to tell him? I better tell him. So I decide, okay, as soon as we get up there, I'm going to tell him, because dawn is like at 5:30. By the time dawn comes, he'll be calmed down. It'll be okay, but I just got to get it over with. So we get up there, and we're waiting out there in the cold, waiting. And I told him, I said, listen, I got to tell you, I am so sorry, but I'm terrified. I cannot do that bike ride. And he was very, very disappointed, I could tell. And I did feel bad about that, but I thought it's better to get it over with. So he gets real quiet, and now the sun is starting to come out. And it is the most amazing thing I have ever seen in my life, is you're actually standing up there with the sun, and the sun starts to come out, and everybody's going wild. They're all crying, they're chanting, they're carrying on. Well, I'm just like with my iPhone, click, taking picture after picture after picture. I must have 200 pictures of nothing but the dot of the sun. Anyway, so finally the sun emerges, and Damon says, will you spend the rest of your life with me? And I'm click. Of course, yes, click. And he's like, no, look down. So I look down, and there's the engagement ring in the box. And I go, oh my God, of course, yes. But in my mind, I'm thinking, oh no, now I have to ride the damn bike. So, because for my boyfriend...
And you did though, didn't you?
I did. It was horrible.
Yeah. Oh.
It was really awful. Especially like the first of all, they take you down about 7 miles before they even put you on the bike because it is too high. And then they put you on the bike, and then like the next 10 miles, you're still not in the tree line. So it's scary.
It's already quite a long way, 10 miles on a bike, even downhill.
It's scary. They probably had to put all new brakes on that bike after I got done with it, because I did nothing but inch my way down. It was slow. Anyway, so the other part of the story Suzy wants me to tell is the last day was a Saturday, and what are we going to do today? I know. Let's go yard sailing. So I get out Craigslist, and I'm looking at yard sale. This is the night before, Friday night, looking at the yard sale list, and I show him one that's not too far, and he looks at the picture, and he says, hey, is that surfboard for sale? And I said, I guess so. It's in the picture. He goes, well, we're going there. So we get over to the yard sale first thing in the morning, and it's already getting busy, and he walks right over to the guy that owns the surfboard. Surfboard's hanging up. It's like a vintage surfboard. And I see him talking to the guy, and the next thing I know, I see him taking out his wallet, and he's peeling off bills. I'm like, oh my God.
Those vintage surfboards, those are like, small battleships in size, really. They're not,
Yes.
They're not small boards.
No. I'm like, what is he doing? He didn't even talk to me about it. So he buys the surfboard. Luckily, the dude that was selling it gave him 2 travel bags. And now we can't get it into the rental car because we have a compact. That's the first sign. So as Suzy knows, because I've told her so many times, no trip is ever complete without a panic over how we're going to get something home. So anyway, we get back to the house. We sort of stick it out of the window or whatever. We get back to the house, and I have my knitting tape measure. So we use the knitting tape measure like in chunks to measure the surfboard. And I look online to see what the restriction is for the airline, and it's just under, like, by a couple of inches. And we had taken a cheap flight, so we had all these connections. We were thinking there is no way the surfboard's going to make it home in one piece, all those flights. And it was a pain in the butt to drag it around through the airport. But lo and behold, when we got back to Baltimore, and here comes the oversized bags, here comes our surfboard, all in one piece.
Amazing. Amazing.
So,
Who else?
Nothing to do with fiber, except for I did have to use my knitting tape measure.
That's a good link. We'll go with that.
So, getting back to the story about FiberyGoodness, the one thing I will say that I do miss from those old days is because we didn't have so much going on. Life was so simple. And we would just be in our pajamas on Skype, just typing away, coming up with all these crazy ideas for things. And, that's kind of crowded out a little bit.
Yeah, we've got a lot happening at the moment, but it's all good. It's all good things, and it's all kind of in the direction that we imagined back then, what we'd like to do, and that's like to find ways to connect people and build up a community of people that enjoy helping each other and sharing what they're doing. And I think we're getting closer to that, and I'm really excited with the Evolutions project that we're trialing at the moment because of that, because it's completely the kind of thing I had in my head. And I have to say this now, I still work in my pajamas till lunchtime. It's just our time zones have changed, so you don't see that so much.
No, it's just the opposite. Well, now usually, I get up and it's 1 o'clock in the morning for you, or 12 o'clock or something like that. And luckily you're a night owl and I'm an early person, so there's a little overlap there. But really, honestly, thank God for Evanita and thank God for Jan.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Because that really helps us out so much. And I don't know how many of you watching know, but we also have another person who helps us in France. Her name is Claire, and she came aboard a few months back. I don't remember exactly, but we do have quite a few French folks that are part of our community, and it's really super nice to have Claire, because particularly when people are working through coursework and English isn't their first language, to have someone that speaks their language is so great. So if you're watching and you speak a second language and you want to be involved, you might want to give us the hi sign, because that really helps us to connect with some other folks around the world when we can offer that.
Yeah, it does. Just to be able to answer questions even about the delivery of the course material and that kind of thing, just really practical stuff as well as the contents of the courses. It's really, really helpful. And that's something we'd really like to encourage, because it's that global connection again. And language shouldn't be, if we're all sitting in the same room and we're all holding our fibre and spinning, language doesn't make a difference. But suddenly when you've got words as your medium, it really does. So it would be quite exciting eventually to get a French version of our courses out there as well.
Yes, it would.
It's another goal.
So
Speaking of which, I have actually got my spinning here, by the way. I might just sit here and spin some, because I'm off to Motorcraft Camp tomorrow. I'm teaching on Saturday all day, and I need to make some samples. some yarn
More
samples.
samples?
More samples.
More samples than went in the suitcase?
Well, these are specific samples for the class that I'm teaching. I've got 2 3-hour classes, so we've got, you know, a little window of time to make something from. The suitcase is just like lots of different stuff, but these are going to be...
Oh, Jan is holding up something. What does it say?
Oh, no, I can't read it.
Jan, you'll have to send us a message.
Yeah.
We can't read it.
Does it say help me?
Taken by the aliens.
I can't hear you, Jan.
Jan, speak to us.
Have you got your mute button on? Check your mute button, because I can't hear you. There's a little microphone up the top there that should be white, even though it's got a line through it. Google Plus is good like that. Things look like they're on and off when they're not.
When they're on.
Yeah. Can you see that mute button? Because I can't think what else that would be. Unless, oh, maybe there's something. Well, I don't know.
I'm back again. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yay.
Yes. Hi, Jan.
Yay.
It keeps booting me off.
That is so unfair.
I know. And then I didn't touch anything. I don't know why you can hear me now, but...
Well, it's just put you back in again, so it looks like it's disconnected and reconnected you, I think.
It was part of our
my
evil plan to hijack the whole show and not let you talk.
Yeah. Well, make the most of it, Jan, in case it boots you off again.
Right. You want to say real quick?
Yeah. Oh, no, I think it has already.
It did again.
Oh, no. We back?
Dang.
I heard you then, Jan.
There. I think it's working now.
Okay.
What I wanted to say was one of the things that I loved about FiberyGoodness is that it was worldwide, and that when on one of the hangouts, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. On one of the hangouts with Suzy, I had people in my living room from all around the world spinning, and that was just so awesome. And when people say to me, what do you mean they were all over and you're spinning? I go, we had our computers on, and everybody was just sitting there talking, and I think Suzy and I were talking more than anybody, but it was just, well, there was Anique, and she was from Belgium, and there was from all over. It was just so exciting. I thought that was just the greatest thing. So, all right.
Yep, it sure is. And we've had, of course, Celia doing some hangouts with us as well from Norway.
Right.
Yeah. So, we tried to keep it as global as possible because, people tend to get, there's some parts of the world where there just aren't spinning guilds and groups to go to, or even if you're close to them, doesn't mean you can actually get to them. I mean, I have one in Napier here, and apparently I can't stick to schedules very well, and when they say the first Wednesday of a month, I'm like, I can never work out which one that is. It's like, is it the first or the last? And now it's Thursday and I just missed it. And so I'm actually pretty hopeless. So having a community like this online that you can always sort of be in touch with someone, that's such a cool resource, I think. Okay, and of course we can share our fibre stories. One of the first global things we did actually was when I was in Holland, we had a group spin session at my place, and we hooked up via Skype with Pam Blasco in, where's Pam, Connecticut, with her spinning group, and chatted and showed each other our fibre and talked about what we were working on, and that ended up in, we did a fibre swap, because there's fibres that you can get in the States that you can't get in Europe and vice versa, so we swapped some of our special fibres and spun for each other, and from that there was some really nice connections made too, like Brigitte, who does the most beautiful felting. She ended up teaching over with Pam and Leslie, doing some felting classes, and so just from that little escapade, some really neat things came out of it. Quite exciting to be part of something like that.
Oh, I just thought of another little another little story from your first visit. I think it was your first visit. Yeah, your first visit here was when we went to Pam's, and we were driving back, and it was really late at night. And it's like a 6-hour drive.
Yeah.
So after we'd been on the road for a couple of hours, and I'm not a night owl, so I'm driving and I'm like falling asleep. And I said, Suzy, I am so sorry, but I am really falling asleep. She's like, I'll drive. And you know how tired I was that I said, okay, fine. Okay, fine. You don't have a license to drive in this country. Not a problem.
37 divided by 8.
I
need to do this.
Could you go and ask Star a bit? Oh, well, I don't know. Asking me maths problems.
You could have seen the look on her face to be driving in the United States. It was like one of the highlights of the trip for her.
It was so cool.
She was so happy and so excited to be driving in the United States.
Hey, what was our first stop? Our first stop on our road trip? Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, it's like, yes, Dunkin' Donuts, yay! And coffee, and yeah, that was good. Oh my God, those donuts. But speaking of, sweet stuff, they were wicked. Very wicked.
I think Jan's coming in and out on us again. Jan, are you there?
Yeah, I think so.
I am now, but I don't know for how long. It's just weird.
I wonder if it's the fire in the background disturbing the...
That's as good as any other theory. Google, what do you want?
Here, let me turn it off.
Could be anything. Who knows? I don't know.
Well, I would like to talk about the big fat knitting slump that I've been in.
Oh. That's quite surprising that it lasted so long, actually, because you've always knitted stuff.
It's still not quite over.
What are you knitting now? You started again, haven't you?
I'm still knitting the doodler.
Oh.
I've got one more wedge to go on the first section, like the wing section.
Oh, the doodler. That's the Stephen West shawl?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just have to power through it. I refuse to start anything else.
Well, that's the thing. You've got to hold that out as your treat at the end. Is it when I finish this and I can start something else that I really want to do?
Exactly.
But have you got something that you really want to do?
Well, I can't even get out to the studio because there's so much snow back there.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway.
Well, that's what I do to myself. If I've got things that I have to power through that aren't particularly thrilling me, is I will give myself a treat at the end of it. Like often it's like a bunch of fibre. At the moment, I still have some of Maisha Soma Jones's rainbow dyed silk sitting in my stash that you sent me.
Well, you got to treasure that because there's
I know there's no more coming, and you see it's been sitting there, and it's always been when I've done all those hard things, I'm going to go and spin that, and I'm going to spin it really fine and take as long as possible to spin it because it's absolutely stunning. So that's my treat that I often hold out to myself as a reward if I finish. Like at the moment, I'm spinning this alpaca, and it is beautiful and it's soft, and I really like, I don't know if you can see the colours really well or not.
I saw it the other day when you showed the picture.
Beautiful. Oh no, this is a different one. This is one I've had dyed for about 6 or 7 months, and it's all sort of slightly earthy tones. It's really, really pretty. But it's actually, I was probably not the most diligent in washing it, and after I dyed it, and it's still quite sandy, and I don't like the feel of it on my hands. So it's been sitting there waiting because it looks amazing when it's spun up, these colours. It looks really, really pretty. But I've been putting it off because it was just kind of, I really should wash it again, and I was too lazy to wash it again. So I'll just spin it and then wash it, and it comes out really good. But right now I'm sort of feeling like, I don't know if you can see my fingers. They're kind of grey, turned
dirty.
Grey.
Carol, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yep. We have 51 viewers. Yes!
Hey guys.
No pressure there. Oh, and Carol wanted me to ask me about socks because I'm such a sock knitter. No, absolutely no socks. In fact, I got so burnt out on knitting socks, I gave away probably about 15 pair of my hand knitted socks.
I'm gonna frame mine then, if that's the last ones you're gonna make.
So this leads to a really good point, and this is sort of my motto. If you know, people often are a little bit begrudging about spending money on things, like, oh, I can make that, or oh, I'll get that later, or whatever. What I have found is you never know when somebody's going to be tired of doing something. Or like Meisha. Meisha's dyeing of silk was phenomenal. Meisha's not doing it anymore. It's over. If you didn't get that when she did it, forget it.
Yep.
And so if you see something that somebody does that you really like and they're willing to sell it to you, you got to grab it.
That's something, I don't know if that's really, I think that's something that a lot of craftspeople do, or artists do, is you do something for a while and you get into it, but it's like your thing, and you focus on that, and then after a while you actually sort of morph into doing other things, and you often never even go back to what it was you were doing before.
Yep.
Oh, looks like my feed has crashed. Oh, there we go. Because I've done things that several years later I'll discover in a cupboard or something and think, oh yeah, that's right, I used to do that, and sort of rediscover it, but it completely had stopped in the meantime. And I think it's just part of when you're creating stuff, is you do get sick of doing the same. Look, if you've got maths questions, you need to use a calculator and wait till I've finished. Sorry, guys.
He's got you. What does he need a calculator for?
He should know, shouldn't he, by now? Asking me anything with numbers is absolutely pointless. He is better with numbers than I am. For some reason, he can do math calculations that, I probably wasn't doing until I was about 14. He's just got a knack for it.
Math. Who needs math? Overrated.
I agree. Just don't mind me. I'm just coming in and out, and
you're just like a little angel falling out of the sky once in a while.
Yeah, if you knew me better, you'd know differently.
Well, that's a good point, Jan, because let's talk about how we met you.
Yes.
Okay.
So, as I know that you have told me that you heard me come on Blog Talk, that you used to like to listen to Natalie's Blog Talk, and I came on to talk about the Golden Fleece, I think. And I remember when you would, sign up for things, or you would comment on things. Of course, it always came through Spider Lady, so I didn't automatically know that it was you. But you would always say something really funny and offbeat. And, in a world where, you've got like a real active blog and real active Facebook page and stuff like that, sometimes it's hard, to like sort of focus on somebody that you don't know yet. And but you would always have like these zingers that would come out. It was so funny.
Queen of zingers.
Zingers. And I'm like, this Jan Massey, she's funny.
That's, I did hear you. I used to listen faithfully to Natalie's Blog Talk, and I loved it because I learned so many things. And I'm a city girl. The closest I get to sheep is when I go to the fair and I touch them, or someone invites me to their farm. I'm not around animals other than my dog. And I learned so much, and I just thought it was so informative. And you were on there, and you were talking about, I think it was probably Journey to the Golden Fleece, and it interested me. It piqued my interest because I thought I need something different, something to excite me, and it really did. That was my first. It was like I was reborn, because I've been spinning for almost 40 years, 35, 40 years, and same old, and I live in an area where it's pretty conservative, that art yarn just kind of is not popular. So, and I like doing my own thing with the yarn fiber. just kind of like funking it up. So I did say that right.
And the funny thing was, when I bought my Aura from Susan's Fiber, Susan McFarlane, I bought your DVD. So you were actually the first one that I saw spinning art yarn through the DVD. But I didn't make the connection for a long time that the Jan Massey that I was communicating with on Facebook was the person on DVD. I don't, like a long time, like I didn't make that connection. I think I finally went to your website and I like, oh my God, I can't believe all this time it's the same person.
Well, see, I go around incognito. That way, then I don't get in trouble. Because with this hair, I could not rob a bank or get away with anything without, somebody noticing me.
Definitely not.
Well, I'll tell you, it's such a pleasure knowing you both, because you've changed the way I look at fiber, the way I just, so many of these journeys, and I think other people feel the same way as I do. They open up, and look at S3. Oh my God, everybody's just going crazy with that S3. Spinning in the grease. I haven't done that since I started spinning, and I personally didn't think I'd want to again. But now with the experience that I've had through spinning in the grease was really fun. It was a learning thing, and better fiber. When I first started spinning, people would say, I have sheep here, I'll give you this fiber, and I'd go, okay, and I'd take these bags of pretty much garbage, but to me they were gold. Mm-hmm. So, and now we kind of know better, so you do better.
Right.
At least for me.
Especially if you're spinning in the grease, you've got to get the right fiber for it, or it's not so fun. If it's
right.
Really unlucky, it's and then even to know that you can actually give it some rinse before you use it. It still leaves the lanolin in. You don't have to wash it, but you can get the worst of the muck out as well. So I've been really thrilled to see people taking up the S3 course and actually getting into exploring different aspects of it. And I'm hoping that, like, for example, with the Victorian module, we were looking at cotton. We're actually looking at recycling the cotton. But when I was doing that, I realized I had some cotton ready to spin that someone had given me, and I hadn't gotten around to doing it. It was sitting in my stash, and I'm going to try spinning that. So I'm spinning away some long draw. It's good long draw practice, and I loved it. I thought, I'm going to do some more of this. So, I found things that I could get more in depth into with the course as well. So, because it worried me a little bit at first, because we actually made, with the S3, it's got a lot of, spin this yarn and do it this way, but we tried to still keep it so that, you could experiment with it. And I think that's something that we've tried to put in all our courses, and Natalie does this too with her dyeing, is that we really want to encourage people to try stuff out and just not be afraid to do new things with fibre. Just try it, see what happens. And that's when you sort of make the most exciting discoveries, I think. And things like, I know that, Arlene, was it you that wrote the module in the Golden Fleece where you've got to take your most precious item from your stash?
Yes.
Yeah, had to be you do that one, because it's daring and crazy, and everyone has their little precious hoard of gold in the middle of their stash that they don't want to touch because it's there forever and they've always got it, and if I touch it I might wreck it. And that module actually asks people to do exactly that, take it out of the stash and use it, and that's quite an exciting thing to do, in fact, especially when you realise that actually even if I did wreck it, I can probably get more of this or something like it. I like all that kind of stuff in the courses.
I must have like an anti-hoarding crusade going on in my heart or something, because some of the other things that we've done have been aimed kind of in that direction. Like the mixed media spinning book is aimed at trying to help people dig into things. People buy scrap boxes or fiber kits, and then they get nervous, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to wreck this, But this stuff is to be spun, and the animals are making more all the time, and, we got to move it along, You know,
And stash busting, where
pile it
there's
up.
so much stash busting stuff around for knitters, you know, because you end up with bits of yarn. But how many spinners have, like me, a cupboard that's full of all these bits and pieces of different colours and bits of, you know, a few locks and all kinds of weird stuff that you end up throwing into one place, and then it sort of turns into this jumble. And being able to use that is also very satisfying. I like to be able to get on and actually just use it all up and feel like I'm not wasting anything as well. And, although, yeah, I don't have too much stuff in my stash at the moment, so it's under control. I say this, it's under control, but you can't see the cupboard that it's all sitting in.
That's a relative term.
It is.
It's insulation.
That's
Definitely
right.
insulation. Yep. So, well, we've got 10 minutes left.
And Suzy, you have a hard stop, right? You've got to go on time.
Oh, no, actually I'm okay, because I was going to pick up Luca today, but he's here, as you may have noticed.
Doing maths.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Okay, there was some other things I wanted to ask. So, can you kind of give us a little heads up on what's coming up on FiberyGoodness? Some of the new things for people that
we have a whole
calendar.
I worked out the whole calendar for the whole year, so I boxed Suzy into a corner. Although she still strays.
I noticed that. You know, we spent some hours a few weeks ago, like it was a really intense planning session, and we made our calendar and we made a schedule, and we even made our blog post schedule, what we're going to, and I felt so incredibly organized after this session that we knew exactly what we're doing and what dates we're going to do this and that and releasing new courses. And the first thing I did was run off to do something else that wasn't on the list.
This was unbelievable. Like, we had made this solid plan. We know exactly what we're going to do this year. We're going to balance everything out. And then she keeps talking about this evolution project. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, okay. I'm not like...
And I was like, why don't you want to talk to me about this?
And, you know, in a message, I didn't want to say, why are you working on this? It's not on the list, because that sounds really kind of confrontational. But secretly, I'm thinking it. And then it couldn't have worked out better, because as probably everyone knows who's listening, you know, we had this little dust-up a couple of weeks ago where we had an issue, you know, with some stuff with the students and somebody not being, you know, very ethical. And so we had to handle that. But, you know, then she had this evolution project ready to go, which was just perfect timing to kind of bring everything back to why are we here, what are we doing, moving forward, looking forward. So let's see. Obviously, we've got Dye Secrets 1, 2, and 3 that will be opening up at various times this year that Natalie teaches. The Sketch, Spin, and Scribe course registration, that's called S3 also, that is open right now. Golden Fleece will be opening again pretty soon. I forget the date.
Yeah, before the end of March, we'll have that
ready to go. And it's the only time this year. We're only doing that once this year.
Because that's like a 10-month course, and we really, really want to be able to support that as well as we can, and that means we need to devote quite a chunk of time to supporting it. So once a year, I think, for the Golden Fleece journey. And it is quite a big course. You know, it's not just spinning a yarn per module. There's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes along with it that, you know, it takes time to get through. So
obviously, you, Jan, are, you know, going to be hosting these monthly chats.
Yeah, because I get kicked off.
Well, we'll have to take a look at that for you.
Well,
let's see what's going on. We made a commitment to each other that we would be blogging more regularly, which we've been doing, which I think you've been seeing. Also, our newsletters will be coming out on a quarterly basis, and they're going to be in a more substantial format than they've been in the past. You know, at the end of the year, we always do the holiday treat booklet, And so the quarterly newsletters are kind of moving more into that vein as well. And
congratulations on Magicraft dealership.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I think it's a great union. I think that and Suzy, Evanita, and I, and Arlene, if you want to help out, we're going to do a little hangout on the aura, and Evanita spins lace, and Suzy and I spin chunky, and I said it's from lace to lassos. You can spin anything on the aura. So we're gonna help people.
It's like a little session for people that are spinning on their auras and sort of looking to go to the next level and find out how versatile they can make their wheel. Because it's such an amazing wheel. I'm sitting here with mine next to me because I don't go anywhere without it. It's coming on holiday. It's coming up to Rotorua with me tomorrow for the Magicraft camp. So and I've got the overdrive here, so I can show people the overdrive during that session, and also the lace flyer, and I can show you how to swap pulleys, that kind of stuff. So that's one of the things for us that's so cool about partnering up with Magicraft and working as dealers with them, because we've been working with them, like with the Golden Fleece, we started out with that, designing the circular loom with them. So we were kind of, the first ones to get that out on the market, and it's been quite exciting to see that circular loom group on Facebook growing and more people making their own looms as well. So it's really sort of started something, triggered something. So we go back to, the beginning of the Golden Fleece with Magicraft, and we've tried to work with them also on the S3 book covers. They're making those for our students, and they're also quite a unique thing. And they do such beautiful work. Their products are just so gorgeous, the wood and the finish and the quality of it. So, it just seemed a logical step for us to take as well.
Do you have your wheel that's laser designed on yours? Do you have it right there?
Still in Holland.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love it. That's another thing is I don't know that people know that you can have your I know the aura and probably the Suzy. You can have it engraved, laser printed on the front.
They'll do it on any of the wheels. They'll do it on the front of the wheel, or on the drive wheel, or on the treadles.
Okay, now another story. Is the Suzy named after you?
No, it's not. No, that was long. That wheel. I don't know when they brought that wheel out, but that was way before I started doing anything with them as well. So. It's not. It's spelt different too, by the way. Oh, it looks like my feed has disappeared again. Are you back?
I'm back.
I'm back. Yay. Are you still there, Arlene?
I am. I'm the only one that seems to have a solid connection tonight.
Yeah.
I've got a solid connection, and I've got, yes, a sleeping cat.
Haha. She obviously didn't hear my voice then. You got headphones on.
I know. Yeah, but it's not over yet. She could come too. Don't count her out.
I've got a stinky dog.
There's not much worse than a stinky dog.
No. Well, no, I've got a 7-year-old, so I'm.
Well, I want to thank you, both of you, so much. And so much for inviting me into your group and for doing this. And we will do more. I've got a pajama party planned, and that can be a little scary.
I just saw a question from Carol wondering when we're doing the aura session. I think, did we decide the 3rd of March or somewhere around there?
Yeah, it's in March because you have so much other stuff.
Yeah.
So we got courses all coming up. I want to encourage people to sign up. If you love spinning, you love fiber, you're in the right place. That's all I can say is it's created a spark in my life. So I'm a convert. Anything else?
I think it must be time for Arlene to sing, right?
That's where I was going.
Really, really want to know what the nostalgic song is going to be.
Well, perhaps Jan will sing with me, since you will not.
Oh, well, I sing loud and bad.
Well, the song for this evening is The Way We Were.
Ah, that's what I said. Is that... Is that Memories?
Yes.
Okay. I don't know
Are
the
you ready,
words.
Jan? Well, you can look
Okay.
them up online.
Well,
That's
great.
what
I
I do.
can't even stay connected, let alone look them up online.
That's a good point. Are you ready, Jan? Come
Sure.
along with me. Don't make me do this alone.
Okay. Do I have to use my Barbra Streisand voice?
Yes.
Okay.
Memories
Memories
light the corner of my mind. Misty water
fallen memories
of the
of
way
the way we were.
scattered pictures
More.
of the smiles we left behind. Smiles we gave to one another of the way we were.
Sorry. That
She's
was
gone
absolutely
again.
awesome.
Me again.
Yeah.
Obviously, obviously, it didn't like my singing.
You broke the internet, Jan. There's more than one way to break the internet.
Yeah, singing.
Barbra Streisand, she's probably pretty worried about now.
Barbra Streisand shaking in her
Stolen
boots.
his song and done it better.
I don't think she has a thing to worry about. So, well, thank you so much. Thank you, FiberyGoodness. Thanks, everybody, for watching. We lost some viewers. Probably the singing.
Probably. I'm out of here. Arlene's going to sing. Goodbye.
Okay. Okay, and keep in touch on Facebook and the blogs and anything else anybody wants to say.
Nope.
I'm good.
See you next time.
All righty, have a good month. So,
Thanks.
bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.